Izuzetno mi je čast i zadovoljstvo da vam najavim narednog predavača. On je preduzetnik, humanista, motivator. Tokom 27 godina njegova poslovna vizija zasnovana je na ljubavi, pravednosti, prelasla je u globalnu Calivita mrežu. Njegovo poslovno umeće i izražena sposobnost da motiviše učinile su nam da bude jedan od najeminentnijih osoba u krugovima evropskog mrežnog marketinga. On je inspiracija desetinama hiljadama ljudi širom sveta. Dame i gospodo, predsednik i osnivač kompanije Calivita International, gospodin Gerry Hargitai.
You know, I used to joke about this almost every time. Maybe I shouldn't this time, but it's always amazing when you're being announced in front of such a wonderful people.
Kao što možda i sami znate ili se sećate, uvek sam se šalio na ovaj račun, ali evo i danas ću to da ponovim, ali mislim ozbiljno, zaista je izvanredno biti ispred svih vas.
Because you need to know that you are wonderful people.
Jer zaista je bitno da znate da vi zaista jeste divni ljudi.
How many times have you heard this the last week? That you are a wonderful person?
Koliko puta ste recimo tokom prošle nedelje čuli ovo, to da ste divni ljudi?
How many times the last month?
A prošlog meseca?
Or the last year?
Ili prošle godine, da ste divni.
But you are a wonderful person.
Ali jeste zaista divne osobe.
And I really would like to thank you for coming here and sharing the day with us today.
I zaista bih želeo da vam se iskreno zahvalim što ste danas došli ovdje i podelili svoje vreme i ovaj dan sa nama.
You gave up a free Sunday and you decided that you're going to let us show you who we are.
Odrekli ste se svoje nedelje i dozvolili ste nama da vam pokažemo ko smo zaista.
I especially thank all the new people, the first timers, who gave up their Sunday to come here.
A posebno se zahvaljujem svim ljudima koji su ovdje prvi put, koji su se također odrekli svoje nedelje da bi bili ovdje.
I hope you are enjoying yourselves.
I nadam se da vam je lepo i da vam je prijatno.
And I also need to thank all the speakers today, from the beginners, the very first time when people were up on the stage, to all the professionals, all the way to the crazy ones like Shandor Matis.
Također želim bih da se zahvalim i svim ljudima koji su nam se danas obratili, počeo od onih koji su na bini bili prvi put, pa sve do fantastičnih naših govornika i za kraj naravno sa gospodinom Matisom.
Well, he's not crazy, I just...
Šalim se, ne mislim da je stvarno ludački dobro govori.
But I'm still amazed, after 27 years, I'm still amazed with his energy.
Ali nakon 27 godina i dalje me impresionira njegova energija.
You know, this is my 28th year in Calivita.
Ovo je moja 28. godina u ovoj kompaniji.
And of that 21 years is with you and with a lot of you since the beginning in Serbia.
A od toga barem 21 sa većinom od vas koji ste ovde od samog početka u Srbiji, a i više i duže.
Because this is an anniversary, I want to say how grateful I am to each and every one of you for every day, every month, every year that you have spent with me and spent with Calivita.
I želeo bih da se zahvalim svima vama koji ste tu i od prvog dana ili koji ste tu tokom svih ovih dana, svih ovih meseci, svih ovih godina zajedno sa nama i sa mnom ovdje u Caliviti.
Special thanks to all our visitors from the various countries.
Također posebnu zahvalnost dugujem i svim našim prijateljima koji su došli da nas posjeti iz raznih drugih zemalja.
Some of you have traveled far and I really appreciate that.
Neki od vas su morali baš dugo da putuju i zaista to cenim.
But I hope you feel the same way as I am, that one can really feel the power of unity and community here today.
Ali mislim da isto kao i ja i vi možete danas ovdje da osjetiti, da ste osjetili taj osjećaj zajedništva.
See, we all have talent. We all can do great things.
Jer svi smo mi talentovani za nešto, svi možemo da postignemo dosta toga.
Yes, all of you, each and every one of you.
Da, baš svako od vas.
And that's regardless of background.
I to bez obzira na vaše poreklo.
Let me tell you some of mine.
Da vam ispričam sada nešto vezano za moje poreklo.
Over the last 28 years, I've told hundreds of thousands of stories of my life.
Tokom proteklih 28 godina ispričao sam stotine priča iz svog života.
I made some notes today of some that I think you can relate to.
Ali danas sam napravio neke beleške vezano za neke situacije koje su mi se desile, sa kojima mislim da možete da se povežete.
Just to show you that you can be a success from any background.
Čisto da bih vam pokazao da zaista možete da budete uspješni bez obzira na svoje poreklo.
For instance, when I was a young child and we used to play soccer in the playground, we lived in a small city.
Kad sam bio dete, igrali smo fudbal u dvorištu napolju, živeo sam u jednom malom gradu.
Or I guess you say football, you know.
Fudbal.
But soccer, football. And all the kids, they went home to get something to eat.
I većina dece je pravila pauzu i odlazili su kući da bi nešto užinali.
My brothers and I, we also went home, but all we had is a glass of water and some salt.
Takođe, moja braća i ja smo išli kući da užinamo, ali jedino što smo mi imali za užinu jeste bila čaša vode i malo soda.
Because we were a poor family, we didn't have extra food for snack.
Jer mi smo bili siromašne porodice, nismo imali viška hrane za užinu.
You know, we had meat once a week. We were a family of 8, and we had one chicken on Sunday. Sunday we got meat, so we actually ate well.
Meso smo jeli jednu nedelju, naša porodica se sastala od 8 članova i samo nedeljom smo jeli meso i to pileti. Jedno pile na nas 8.
In the spring, I told a story for the first time in one of the seminars. One of my bad experiences in school, I was in junior high school.
Tek ovo proleće sam ispričao tu priču na nekom od seminara i imao sam jedno onako loše iskustvo kad sam bio.
And you know that there's physical education in school, or at least used to be in those days.
A radi se o tome da tada smo imali, a i sada verovatno imate svi fizičko vaspitanje u školi.
And then a doctor comes sometimes and then they check you and you need to be in your underwear.
I ponekad tu dođu lekari da urade sistematski i naravno vi morate da budete donja veža.
Well, we were a poor family, so I didn't have many of the underwears, so the one I had on, well, were not in good shape.
Pošto smo mi bili siromašna porodica, ja nisam imao baš mnogo primjeraka donje veša, tako da taj u kom sam se zatekla u tom momentu i nije baš bio u savršenom stanju.
Let's just say I didn't get a fresh one every day.
Recimo da nisam baš svaki dan menjao.
So imagine that I have to be in front of all my schoolmates and the doctor, looking like that.
I takav sam morao da stanem pred sve svoje prijatelje, a i pred lekara.
I recall our very first proper Christmas. I was already 12 years old.
Prvi put kad smo uopšte proslavili Božić kako treba ili kako toliko, ja sam imao već 12 godina.
That was the first time we had a proper Christmas tree and I got a proper Christmas present.
Tek tada smo imali jelku i ja sam dobio poklon.
Or when I was 11 years old and I needed glasses because I have a lazy eye.
Ili kad sam imao 11 godina, bili su mi potrebni naočari ili jedno oko.
So I got one of those glasses, you know, that's kind of dark on one side.
Znate te naočare koji imaju onako prekriveno jedno staklo.
But I lost it while we were playing with my brothers, and I never got a new one.
Ali izgubio sam ih dok sam se igrao napolju sa svojom braćom i nikada nisam dobio drugi naočar.
You know, with the family of 8, only my father having a job, we didn't have the money to buy a set of glasses again.
Jer bilo vas je 8, samo moj otac je radio i nismo imali dovoljno novca da kupimo meni nove naočare.
To this day, I can barely see with this eye.
Čak i dan danas ja jedno vidim na ovo lepo oko.
Or when I was in 4th grade, and I had a jacket that had a big hole on the arm.
Ili recimo kad sam bio u 4. razredu, sećam se da sam imao jaknu koja je bila pocepana na laktu.
And I had to go to school every day in it.
I u toj jakni sam morao da idem u školu svaki dan.
Or I can tell you that I only had one shoe per year. And one year when I was about 12 years old, I received a shoe that was 3 times larger
I dobio sam samo jedne cipele godišnje i te jedne godine se desilo da te cipele koje sam dobio su bile za 3 broja veće od onih koje su meni trebali.
So imagine that, as a 11 or 12 years old, you're going to the school and you look like a clown.
Sad zamislite da imate 11 ili 12 godina i idete u školu i da izgledate kao kloun u tim cipelama.
Well, that's the only shoe I had.
Ali to su bile jedine cipele koje sam ja tada imao.
Or usually my dinner consisted of a cup of tea, a regular black tea with some sugar in it.
I obično se moja večera sastojala od čaja, od običnog crnog čaja sa malo šećera.
And we all received a slice of bread with some pork fat on it.
I jedno parče hleba sa svinjskom mašću.
Or at the age of 14, we were still sleeping with my 3 brothers on a double pull-out sofa in the kitchen.
Ili, kad sam imao 14 ili 15 godina i dalje sam spavao sa trojicom svoje braće na jednom kauču na razvlačenju u kuhinji.
You know, feeling like sardines.
Kao sardine.
Now, we lived as a family of 8 in a small kitchen and a small room. That was it.
Znači, nas 8 smo živjeli u jednoj maloj sobi i kuhinji.
I could go on and on, but I'm sure that many of you have similar stories.
Mogao bih ja da nabrajam i dalje, ali sam siguran da neki ili mnogi čak od vas mogu da podele sa nama neku sličnu priču.
And similar backgrounds.
Ili slično poreklo.
But it makes no difference what kind of background you have.
Ali nema nikakve veze kako je vaše poreklo.
Only what you do from today and every day forward.
Važno je samo ono što radite danas, svakog dana iznova.
See, you are the only person responsible for your own life.
Vi i samo vi ste odgovorni za vaš život.
And this will be my topic, but before we continue, I would like to share you a story I read just recently.
Ali pre nego što nastavimo dalje, želeo bih da podelim sa vama neke zanimljive činjenice i važnost pravila ishrane. Neke stvari koje sam tek nedavno saznao.
See, there are many good reasons to eat right and stay healthy, but I saw an article about a large number of people who died in hospitals, not from a disease, but from medical errors.
Postoje brojni razlozi zbog kojih je važno da se hranite pravilno i da pazite na zdravlje, ali nedavno sam pročitao jedan članak o velikom broju ljudi koji su preminuli bolnicama, ali ne od bolesti, nego zbog lekarske greške.
In the US alone, it is estimated that up to 250,000 people died in hospitals from medical errors last year, twice as many as in road accidents.
Samo u Americi procenjuje se da je 250.000 ljudi umrlo zbog lekarske greške prošle godine, a to je duplo više nego u saobraćajnim nesrećama.
See, OECD estimates that 10% of the patients in hospitals around the world, including Serbia, are harmed at some point during their hospital stay.
Procenjuje se da oko 10% pacijenata u bolnicama širom sveta bude na neki način ugroženo ili povređeno tokom svog boravka u bolnici.
This means that once you get to a hospital, you have a 10% chance to be harmed.
To znači da kada odete u bolnicu postoji 10% šanse da vam se i nešto loše desi.
Is that scary?
Zar to nije zastrašujuće?
You, by spreading useful information about good nutrition and prevention, can help avoid a lot of hospital stays, and as a result, you can save lives.
A vi samim tim što širite korisne informacije o pravilnoj ishrani i o prevenciji, pomažete mnogima da ne završe u bolnicama i samim tim nekim ljudima bukvalno spašavate život.
As I said many times, you are an important catalyst in people's lives. A very valuable catalyst.
Kao što sam već mnogo puta spomenuo, svi vi radite izuzetno važan posao i važni ste činioci u mnogim životima.
A lot of you know me for a couple of decades now and know how I would like to help people to succeed.
Mnogi od vas me poznaju već decenijama i znate koliko mi je važno da pomognem i ostalima da uspeju.
We all know that to succeed at anything you need clear goals and a good plan.
Svi znamo da su za uspeh u bilo čemu potrebni jasni ciljevi i dobar plan.
So here's a useful tool, something very simple and easy to use that I like.
Daću vam jednu dobru ideju, lako i jednostavno za sprovesti, jedan alat.
This is creating your life checklist on your phone.
A radi se o tome da napravite spisak životnih ciljeva na svom telefonu.
Over the past decade in hospitals now, as in aviation, the use of checklists like those used by pilots has become commonplace.
Tokom poslednje decenije u bolnicama, baš kao i u avijaciji, upotreba spiskova kao onih koji koriste piloti pre poletanja je postala uobičajena stvar.
Before cutting a patient open, surgeons and nurses go through a simple exercise to ensure they have the right equipment to know the operation to be performed and understand the risks.
Pre nego što otvore pacijenta, hirurzi i sestre rade jednu jednostavnu stvar kako bi bili sigurni da su im tu sva oprema i svi instrumenti, da znaju redosled poteza tokom operacije i da su dobro procenili rizik.
Checklists are not only useful, but essential and important jobs.
Ti spiskovi, takozvane checkliste, nisu samo korisne, nego u nekim poslovima i obavezna, nezamenjiva stvar.
And what is more important than your own life?
A šta vama može biti važnije od vašeg života?
So create a checklist for your life.
Napravite listu svojih ciljeva.
Write down and know what's important to you.
Zapišite šta je to što je vama važno.
Know and rehearse your goals in your mind every day.
Naučite napamet i ponavljajte u sebi svoje ciljeve svaki dan.
Put them on your phone and decide to start your day every day reading it.
Zapišite ih u telefon i započnite svaki novi dan čitajući ih.
It will only take a few minutes a day, but it will help you stay on your goals.
Oduzet će vam samo par minuta svakog dana, ali će vam pomoći da ostanete na pravom putu ka ostvarenju svojih ciljeva.
Go over that checklist one by one and recommit to your goals and plans.
Prelazite tu listu stalno, jednu pod jednu stavku i posvetite se svojim ciljevima i planovima.
It will help you focus and get your mind ready for the day.
To će vam pomoći da se skoncentrišete na ono što treba da uradite tog dana.
Make sure that you understand that if you want something extra in life, you need to put in something extra.
I uvek imajte na umu da ukoliko želite nešto više od života, morate za toliko više i da se potrudite.
This will help you put all your time and energy into doing the most important thing in your life, building you and the life you want.
To će vam pomoći da usmerite svu snagu i vreme u ono što vam je najvažnije u životu, a to su rad na sebi i nepostizanje života kakvog želite.
So now let's watch a short film about how to build a life you need a vacation from, then I will be back.
Pogledajmo sada jedan kratak film o tome kako da stvorite život od koga vam neće biti potreban odmor.
As Seth Godin says, instead of wondering when your next vacation is, maybe you should set up a life you don't need an escape from. I don't think people really realize we construct our lives. We build them from nothing. We decide what our goals are. We decide in what way to move. We decide who we're going to become and what we're going to get. But it's a decision, it's a process. It isn't something that somebody hands to you. And so if you find that your life is a misery, understand that your life is an exact reflection of your choices. And if you want a different life, you need only make a different choice. But I know right now, many of you are thinking, but I don't know what way to go. I don't know what choice to make. I don't know what it is that I want to do. And as Roy Maurice Keane said, I don't believe skill was or ever will be the result of coaches. It is a result of a love affair between the child and the ball. So ask yourself, what's that thing that you love? And don't judge yourself if it was something that you loved as a child that people are telling you couldn't possibly make money. And it's that part of the equation that I want to break for people. I want you to understand. Stop asking yourself what you can make a lot of money at, and start asking yourself, what would you enjoy? What is that life that you don't need to escape from? What is the life that is your love? What is the thing that as a kid you did, whether people wanted you to or not? What is the thing you would sneak out at night to do because you weren't going to be stopped from doing it? Everybody has something like that in their life. Some spark of interest, maybe long dormant, maybe that they've pushed aside because they think it's stupid. Or maybe they failed once and they think they're bad at it. And even though they love it, that sting of the failure has convinced them to stop pursuing it. But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is what gives you that energy. At the end of the day, the thing that matters is what fills you with joy. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters, it's not success. And it sure as hell isn't money. It's how you feel about yourself when you're by yourself. It's the things that give you energy. It's what you think about yourself. It's how you react to the hard things. It's whether or not you push through. And when you push through, when you persevere, when you go down the process of taking the time to structure your life, to build it into something that you want it to be, to build it into something that you're proud of, to become the person that's capable of the things you want to do, that can first fall in love with something and do it for the love of it and not worry about what other people think. If you hate your life, I guarantee you the thing is that you are trapped by what other people think. You don't want to give it up because somebody will think you're a failure. You don't want to give it up because it's a paycheck. You don't want to give it up because you're scared. You're scared you don't know what you'll do next. But imagine a world for a second where all you thought about was, what do you love? What do you enjoy in that moment? It doesn't matter if it changes from day to day. Just what do you love? What fills you with joy? What gives you that energy? At the end of the day, the only thing that we all have is right now, this moment. It's what you're experiencing. Loving what you do, how you spend your time. That's the point of all of it. The point of life is that. In each transient moment that passes by, doing something that fills you with joy. Nobody can give you that. You've got to build that life. So go out, figure out what it is that you want to do, and brick by brick, have the courage to build that life. As Henry David Thoreau said, never look back unless you're planning to go that way. And that's how people get trapped. There's something inevitable about the way that the human mind works. It's going to try to draw you backwards. It's going to try to get you to focus on the bad things that have happened. It wants you to see your mistakes. It wants you to wallow in your mistakes. And I'll give it that maybe it has the best of intentions. Maybe its hope is that I don't repeat those mistakes. Maybe what it wants to ensure is that I do better in the future, but the problem is your energy goes where your attention is. And if your attention is the past, that's where you're going to live. That's where you're going to spend your time, and you're never going to be able to plan for the future. The future doesn't happen. The future has to be built. It has to be created. And if you're not taking the time to map out that creation, then it's going to happen by accident, and you're never going to get the things that you want. You're never going to become the person that you're capable of becoming. But to become that push, you have to push yourself. You've got to make huge demands of yourself, and to do that, to have the energy to see that through, you've got to know what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And as William Faulkner said, don't bother just to be better than your contemporaries or your predecessors. Try to be better than yourself. But how can you do that if all you're doing is looking in the past? You've got to have an eye to the future. You've got to know who you are today. You've got to have the self-awareness, the presence, to look at yourself honestly, to accept what it is about yourself that is weak, that is inadequate, but without punishing yourself, without spending that time beating yourself up in the past, living there in the pain of what you got wrong, living there in the pain of all the things that have happened to you that were outside of your control that you didn't want. If you want to build something new, don't spend any of your energy trying to tear down the old. Instead, spend all of your time trying to build the new. And that becomes the thing. It becomes the race against yourself. It becomes the race to see if you can make yourself better. You have a vision of who you can become, and you're constantly racing against that person. You're trying to become better than that person. You're trying to outperform your own expectations. And when you can do that, when you can set a bar that is ridiculously high and then become somebody capable of surpassing that, then, and only then, will you become the person you were meant to be. So put all of your time and energy into building you.
So what do you think?
Kako vam se čini, šta mislite?
So what is it that you love?
Šta je to što u stvari vi najviše volite?
What would make you jump out of bed every morning?
Zbog čega biste ujutru iskakali iz kreveta od sreće?
What would give you the energy to make the constant effort to build the life you want?
Šta je to što će vam dati snagu da konstantno gradite život koji želite?
What is it? Freedom, money, love, friends, recognition, good community, big car, big house? What?
Šta je to za vas? Sloboda, ljubav, novac, prijatelji, priznanje, zajednica, putovanje, velika kuća, lep auto i tako dalje.
Because you need to have a good reason.
Bitno je da vi nađete dobar razlog.
You really need to have your own very good reason or you're not going to make it.
Stvarno morate da sami za sebe nađete dobar razlog, jer u suprotnom nećete uspeti.
So find that reason.
Nađite taj razlog.
Find that reason inside you.
Nađite to u sebi.
Is it easy to focus on your goals?
Da li je lako skoncentrisati se na cilj?
Yes, if you have firm goals.
Da, ali ukoliko imate čvrst i jak cilj.
So let me ask you, what is it that you want in your life?
A šta je onda to što zaista želite u životu?
You have one life. One life only. With this ticket, you only go around one time.
Imate samo jedan život. Imate kartu samo za ovu jednu vožnju.
Up to you what kind of round this will be.
Od vas zavisi kakva će vam vožnja biti.
You always have a choice. Why not decide now?
Uvek imate izbor. Pa što ne biste odlučili sad, odmah?
Decide for good.
Odlučite da želite bolje.
You want a better life, and you are willing to do whatever it takes.
Da želite bolji život i da ste spremni da učinite sve što je potrebno.
As he said, your energy goes where your attention is.
Vaša snaga i energija će ići u tom pravcu u kom ide i vaša pažnja.
And if your attention is on your past, or your failures, or your difficulties, that is where your energy goes, and not into creating and building the life you want.
Ukoliko vam je pažnja usmerena na prošlost ili na greške i promašaje, u tom pravcu će i vaša energija ići, a ne ka stvaranju boljeg života koju u stvari želite.
The future doesn't just happen, it has to be built.
Budućnost se ne događa samo tako, ona se gradi.
So are you going to build and live a good life, or are you going to accept a mediocre or unhappy one?
I da li ćete da napravite da živite bolji život ili ćete da prihvatite osrednji i nesrećan život?
You are all unique and valuable human beings.
Svi ste vi jedinstvena i vredna ljudska bića.
Time to live like one. Right?
Vreme je da počnete tako i da živete. Da li se slažete sa mnom?
Right? I have some questions.
A sada imam neka pitanja za vas.
Are you now where you want to be in your life?
Da li ste već sada tamo gde biste želeli da budete u životu?
Do you live the way you really would like?
Da li živite živote koje zaista želite?
Do you get the proper recognition for what you do?
Da li dobijate dovoljno priznanja za to što radite?
Do you have enough money for everything you need?
Da li imate dovoljno novca za sve što želite?
Do you now or have you ever had any financial difficulties?
Da li imate ili ste nekad imali finansijskih poteškoća?
Do you check the prices of food and other things before you buy?
Da li pre kupovine proverujete cenu i hrane i drugih stvari koje želite da kupite?
Or do you buy the cheaper version, what you can afford?
Da li zaista kupujete ono što želite ili kupujete jeftinije verzije toga?
Do you buy good quality organic foods for you and your family?
Da li kupujete visoko kvalitetnu organsku hranu za vas i vašu porodicu?
Have you ever been stepped on or elbowed by a colleague or your boss?
Da li vas ikada neki kolega načepio ili vaš šef?
How many missed opportunities and wasted years could you count in your past?
Koliko izgubljenih prilika ili protraćenih godina možete da se prisetite?
Most likely quite a few, right?
Više nego što biste želeli, zar ne?
But there's an alternative.
Ali postoji rješenje za to, postoji alternativa.
With Calivita's time-tested system, everyone can create and build a good life they want.
Sa Calivitinim, isprobanim i testiranim sistemom, svako može da stvori i da živi život kakav želi.
Use it to your advantage.
Iskoristite to u svoju prednost.
You're not alone. With the help of the loving and supporting community of Calivita, you can do it.
Niste sami, zapamtite, uz pomoć i podršku zajednice kakva je Calivita, svi to možete postići.
All you need is you and your time and effort. Like Isus said.
Potrebni su vam samo vaše vreme i vaš trud.
See, together we definitely can do it.
Znači, zajedno mi to zaista možemo da postignemo.
So, let's watch a video now about how to become unstoppable, and I'll be back.
Pogledajmo sada još jedan kratak video o tome kako da postanemo nezaustavljeni, pa ću se vratiti.
La indicación del árbitro. Leo le pegó.
As Lionel Messi said, you have to fight to reach your dream. You have to sacrifice and work hard for it. That's coming from the man who has come to define natural talent. But that's what other people put on him. People want to see somebody who's just naturally talented. It's God-given. They were graced. They were blessed with something at birth. But what does he say when he's asked about what it took to become the person that he is? It took hard work. It took sacrifice. It took giving things up. It took doubling down. It took pushing himself every day, day after day. And that's the thing about hard work. When you put that kind of unending, blinding effort into something, it gets to the point where you've worked so hard that it looks like magic, that people would sooner believe that it's DNA, that it's gifted, that it is God-given, than to believe that they would have to work that hard to replicate it. But if you can stop making other people extraordinary as a way to let yourself off the hook, then you too can become extraordinary. All of us are capable of far more than we think. We're capable of more than the people who love us the most think. We are capable of more than the people who hate us the most would have us believe. At the end of the day, it is a very simple question you're going to have to ask yourself and answer for yourself. How hard are you willing to work? How much are you willing to sacrifice? But on the other side of that is power and energy. And as Kyle Rote Jr. said, if you're attacking, you don't get as tired as when you're chasing. And that's the key. When you know what you want and when you will not be held back from getting it, suddenly you go on the offensive. It's not about pleasing somebody else. It's not about chasing somebody else, becoming them, or even beating them. It is about yourself knowing what you want and attacking it, going after it, and not letting anybody dissuade you. It is looking at yourself and recognizing how you have to improve to get that good, but you've got to hunger for that goal. You've got to hunger to get across and win. You've got to want that the way that a man whose head is on fire wants a pond. And when you get to that stage, when you're able to cultivate something in yourself like that, something that is refusing to be extinguished, something that will be heard, something that will stand up and be counted, then you're going to have what you need to get the skills that you need to move forward, to win, to attack. And in that attack and having the energy to move forward relentlessly, you will find that even though you're working harder than you've ever worked in your life, you're more energized than you've ever been in your life. The times where you fatigue, they're not the times you're working the hardest. The times you fatigue are when you're being least yourself. You're not being true to who you are and what you want. So right now, start being honest about what it is you're willing to attack. Start being honest about who you want to be, what you're willing to become, and the price you're willing to pay to get there. If you give yourself over to that, you will not be able to be stopped. All right, listen and listen well, because no truer words are ever going to be fucking spoken. You can do anything you want without limitation. Whatever it is that you decide you want to make come true in your life, you can do that. It is going to take an inhuman amount of work. You're going to have to be prepared to break yourself in half. You are going to have to learn more than anyone has ever learned. You're going to have to push yourself harder than anyone has ever asked you to push yourself before. You're going to go way beyond your breaking point. You're going to run until you vomit. You're going to study until you fall asleep. You're going to push and push and push, and then you're going to push some fucking more. And when you hit the limit, you're going to push again beyond that. You're going to force yourself into an adaptation response. And why? Because as Malcolm X said, the future belongs to those who prepare for it today. So if you don't put the work in today, if you don't do the unending, back-breaking work of developing yourself into something greater, the world is going to pass you by. The people that are going to own it are going to be the ones that did that work. And the one promise that I can make you right now is that somebody Somebody out there is outworking you. Somebody right now is doing the things that I'm saying. Somebody right now is doing the work of failing and getting up and getting better and pushing themselves and triggering that glorious adaptation response that makes humans the apex predator. Someone right now, they're putting in that work. And if you don't, the future is going to belong to them. And as Martin Luther King Jr. said, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. It's not okay to make excuses. It's not going to slow people down. It's not okay to ask the world to stop so that you can step out front. It's not okay to expect little of yourself and demand great rewards. The only thing that's okay is to be in line with the way that the world really works. And if you want to be great, you've got to become capable of greatness. You've got to develop your skill set. You've got to take what you have now, and if that's crawling, then fucking crawl. But you drag yourself ever forward to a vision of yourself that is so clear and so specific that nothing could knock you off your path, because you, my friend, know exactly where you're going. You're willing to pay whatever price it takes to get there. And no matter what anybody says, no matter how many fucking hecklers come for you, no matter how many people try to throw dirt on you, try to stop you, try to knock you down, no matter how many fucking people come for you at night while you sleep, you will rise and you will keep pushing forward and you will get better every day. And no matter how many times people chop at you, knock you down, knock you off the path, you will get back on. You will crawl till you can walk, you will walk till you run, and then you will run until you fly. And that, my friends, is the only path forward. So if you want a fucking future that makes you happy, if you want a world that you're excited about, get your ass out there and earn it.
So what do you think?
Kako vam se čini?
It's a little fast, it's hard, but it's true.
Malo je brzo, malo je jako, ali je istinito.
So, will you take charge of your own life and your future?
Da li ćete preuzeti odgovornost za sopstveni život i za sopstvenu budućnost?
Will you finally make that ironclad decision that no one and nothing can change?
Da li ćete konačno doneti tu čvrstu odluku koju niko i ništa neće moći da promeni?
Will you finally realize that you need to do more to really succeed?
Da li ćete konačno osvestiti tu činjenicu da morate da uradite više kako biste uspeli?
The future is in your hands and your mind.
Budućnost je u vašoj glavi, znači u vašem umu i u vašim rukama.
Your thoughts determine your actions.
Vaše misli stvaraju vaše ponašanje.
And your actions determine your results.
A vaše ponašanje određuje vaše rezultate.
More action, better results.
Više rada i akcije, bolji rezultati.
This means we need to guide and control our thoughts to get it to focus on action to get the results we want.
To znači da moramo da usmerimo i kontrolišemo svoje misli kako bismo ih usmerili ka onome što će nam doneti rezultate koje želimo.
I believe, and it's also my personal experience from sports to business, that you are what you think of yourself.
Verujem, a i lično sam se uverio u to i kroz sport i kroz posao, da smo svi mi ono što mislimo o sebi, ono kako sebe vidimo.
What you are now is a direct result of what you thought of yourself.
Ono što ste sada je direktan rezultat onoga kako ste mislili o sebi.
If you continue to think of yourself the same way as up to now, you will end up being the same with the same results.
Ukoliko nastavite da o sebi mislite na isti način kao što ste to radili do sada, završit ćete tako što ćete i dalje biti isti i sa istim rezultatima.
If you do not like what you are now, you can change that by changing your thought and belief systems.
Ukoliko niste zadovoljni onim kakvi ste sada, to možete promeniti tako što ćete promeniti način na koji razmišljate i svoj sistem uverenja.
You need to know that no one is better than you.
Morate da budete svesni toga i da verujete da niko nije bolji od vas.
In real life, there are no superheroes, no super special people like James Bond.
U stvarnom životu ne postoje super ljudi kao što su, na primjer, James Bond ili slični.
They're all normal people like you and me.
Postoje samo normalni, obični ljudi kao što smo i vi i ja.
So then what is the difference?
Poučavamo da razlika.
The difference usually is in the quality of the goals, discipline, willpower, and most importantly, action and perseverance.
Razlikujemo se samo u kvalitetu naših ciljeva, u disciplini, snazi volje i što je najvažnije u preduzimanju akcije i istrajnosti.
You're as good as anyone else and as good as you can imagine yourself to be.
Dobri ste koliko i svi ostali i uspešni ste onoliko koliko možete da zamislite da jeste.
But you need to know that you're capable of much more than you believe now.
Ali morate biti svesni toga da ste sposobniji za mnogo više nego što sada mislite.
So I ask you to make that final decision now. Take the necessary actions and build that life you really want.
Donesite tu konačnu odluku sada. Preduzmite sve što je neophodno i stvorite život koji stvarno želite.
Concrete goals and action, unity and a supporting community equals results.
Jasni i konkretni ciljevi i akcija, jedinstvo, zajedništvo i međusobna podrška su ono što donosi rezultat.
And this is that magical recipe.
I to je taj magični recept.
So now that you have the recipe, how have you decided?
I sada kad znate za taj recept, šta ste odlučili?
Are we cooking?
Jel cool?
Are we cooking?
Hoćemo da kuvamo.
Are we cooking together?
Ćemo zajedno.
Well, then let's do it.
Pa hajmo.
And thank you very much.
Hvala vam.